Thank you for joining us for a special episode about a very special topic. Dilemma of revolution is that it deconstructs very easily, but often it fails to reconstruct. It changes, but often merely faces. People who sow the seeds of a revolution often fail to reap it. In recent times, history has proven this. Last month, we saw a big student movement in Bangladesh, apparently. There was a revolution, allegedly, which toppled the very stable government of Mrs. Hasina Wajid. Today, we have in our program a barrister, a renowned politician, belongs to an opposition party, and who struggled and suffered during the regime of Mrs. Hasina Wajid. I think he is the right person to ask many questions to clarify what exactly happened. With me is Mr. Fazl Rahman Mondal. Thank you very much, Barrister Mondal, for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
I must disclose to our audience that while this revolution was happening on the streets of Bangladesh, Mr. Mondal was part of it, or at least was there on the streets. Mr. Mondal, a few months ago, no one could imagine Bangladesh without the government of Hasina Wajid, and today it is. What is your opinion on it? What exactly happened?
Well, you see, first of all, in general, people been very unhappy with the regime because many people were being subject to persecution, subject to torture, and we had about near about 1,000, more than 600 been reported, been abducted within this 15 years regime period. And people been very unhappy, and there are many, hundreds, nearly 1 million of people has been accused for false cases, mainly for those who are participating in the oppositions. So it was really deteriorated situation, and people unhappiness was existing. It's been very visible that the people are unhappy. In addition to the opposition BNP, who couldn't participate in the national election for the last 3 terms. So altogether, there wasn't dissatisfaction and unhappiness with the people. And then suddenly the issues has come out in relation to the students. Because the students were unhappy and uprising raised from there when government introduced a quota system, which in order to seek for the government employment, there will be a particular fixed quota for the freedom fighters. As you know, the freedom fight, the independence fight was taken place over 50 years ago. Those who are are students now, they are far away from that, and some of them don't even qualify to that, and they want their opportunity to be on the basis of the merits. So they feel it's very unfair and unjustified decision by the government to implement that quota system. So they accumulate and they raise and cause the uprising, and they ended up all the university students to come out on the street and protest against the decision. So this is how the situation instigated initially.
Okay, there are many speculation about who actually is behind this movement. Some says it's a genuine student movement. Some says that no, Jamaat Islami or BNP was behind it. Some even say that army itself or herself was behind it. And Sheikh Hasina has alleged something else. So what do you think exactly, who was behind it? Or was it a combined effort?
Well, first of all, you see, it's very premature to comment on that. It's only a few days or a few weeks that the interim government has taken place. So, but my understanding is that, the army chief on 5th of August, he has played a reasonable role, a neutral role, looking at the situation where more than 300, 400 students have been killed and kind of, destabilizing the whole country. As a result of that, the Prime Minister has to flee from the country. So the army chief has played a kind of a heroic role at this stage. He has come forward and he has given his promise that he wants to sit down with all the politicians, political leaders. He also wants to make sure that all the killing will happened so far, all of them have been brought into justice, and he has also ensured that there will be an interim government, and at the moment the army will not go into power. So their intention was been cleared at that position, and accordingly he has set up an interim government with the people's demands and people's expectations. So one side. The other side, as you mentioned, Jamaat-e-Islami, the ex-prime minister was always blaming when this uprising was going on. She was blaming that it was the Jamaat-e-Islami and the student wing of the Jamaat-e-Islami, the Chhatro Shibir, was actively participating on that. But it comes to be untrue that it was not.
So even rumors were that some people said that Nahid Islam was maybe the office holder of student wing of Jamaat Islami.
That is too remote, you see,
Okay.
Too remote in the sense that Jamaat Islami, whether they were participating or not, that is in one side, but we can see the interim government is there, and it's a combination of all parties. It's a combination of people desire and people expectation. So the prime minister's thinking on that, aspiration on that was not correct, unfortunately. But these governments, so interim government, is so far acceptable to the people. But they have also promises at the earliest period of time they are going to commence a national election. So the general people are looking at them, observing very closely to make sure that they actually keep their commitment to give a general election, and ultimately democracy takes its own place. And the people are selected, and the people come. The new parliament is formed in accordance to the mandate of the people. Yeah, this is what
many eyebrows were raised when students specifically asked for Mr. Yunus
Yes.
To be the head of interim government, considering that Hasina later on accused America behind the regime change, and considering that Mr. Yunus is quite acceptable for the West, or darling of the West, and was one of the victims of Hasina's government. Do you think it raised any alarm bells within your party or your political circle that why Mr. Yunus has been chosen by the students?
Well, first of all, you see, she had very good alliance with India, and always had a soft corner for India. There are many, contract has been, national contract has been on the table to India rather than America. Now, if a government can play their own role, maintaining a good relationship with any foreign countries, that's acceptable by the people in general. Dr. Yunus is an acceptable person by the people of the country. Unfortunately, although he was victim of by the ruling party last occasion, but even if we forget about it, he is an acceptable person. He's a Nobel laureate, acceptable person by the ordinary citizen of the country, and he has no issues in person either with Awami League or with the BNP, not in respect to doing any favor or unfavor to any other party. But as you're saying that eyebrows only raised when particularly student announces his name, not anybody else's name, particularly his name, then people might thought Dr. Yunus has a good connection with America. So therefore, a leniency, a good connection with America might have an impact, result onto this, all this structure. But my understanding that in general, the government has a good relationship to all the countries, not any particularly for America.
And because you mentioned that many contracts were given to Indian government or Indian businessmen, and Hasina definitely had a soft corner towards India. And we have seen that Indian intelligentsia or media or political circles have raised very serious concerns about the why the government has been toppled or who can be behind it. Even some speculation that Pakistani involvement was there or some other involvements were there. Do you think people generally did not like Hasina going so much towards India?
Well, of course, you maintain, the government should maintain to the good relationship to any country in generally, but there shouldn't be any kind of any kind of soft corner to any particular country, to giving away your own interest, your country's interest. So the people of Bangladesh, they are considering that because she had a very soft corner to India, so people been always been very suspicious, and that she might have given too much as compared to any other government in the past. But of course, the aids, supports from the foreign countries, any developed countries, in fact, UK, America, it's always been helpful. As a country, as a government in general, we want to make sure that our relationship maintains with India, maintains with any other country in the world. So without giving away our own interest.
Fine enough, fine enough. There were many horrible incidents, unfortunate incidents after this regime change, where minorities have been attacked, or places of worship have been attacked, or political opponents have been attacked. There is a concern that Bangladesh, having a very secular state structure, although a Muslim majority country, but having a constitutional secularism, is drifting towards a majoritarian state where Muslim majority would actually do the same what Muslim majority is doing maybe in Pakistan to the minorities or some other countries. Do you think Bangladesh is slowly drifting towards this side?
First of all, no. I want to say, when the government shifts, or the situation shifts one to another, there is always a disruption in respect of the political parties, their workers, their homes. It's always been the case that's been attacked. Generally, it happens, but it's unfortunate. It shouldn't happen. And people of Bangladesh, especially the students, those who are involved on this uprising situation, the protester, they're very, very concerned, and they want to make sure the minority people are protected. And I heard that some of the places they've been to the religious places for the other religion, the minority religions, their prayer places, they've been protected by the students, along with the law enforcing agency. So from the heart, from the bottom of their heart, they do not want that massacre. They don't want that the minority people should be tortured or subject to be tortured or persecuted. They want to make sure that then they live as like the other people live in there. So my expectation to all of us is, rather than claiming yourself not only a Muslim, not only Hindu or any other religion, we are Bangladeshi. So even though the minority are there, they are also Bangladeshi.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that we respect them, we treat them as a Bangladeshi citizen, Bangladeshi national. Their rights and our rights are the same. So I think the situation will come down gradually, because it's a transitional period. So naturally it is affected nowadays, but hopefully in few weeks' time it will get normal.
Coming back to Hasina, she no doubt was a very iron lady of Bangladesh, but also we are seeing the very violent acts and very gross acts which have been done. Some people are coming out of a place called Aina Khana, some torture cells where people were kept for years, who were political opponents. But this is also a fact that Hasina put Bangladesh on a economic progress way, on a path. Bangladesh is now a tailor of the world, exporting I think highest number of tailored clothing all around the world. And she had very strong grip. Nobody was there to challenge her. How she reached this stage where she had to run from the country on a 45 minutes notice?
Well, you see, going back to what you initially raised, the economical situation at the moment. Well, first of all, we accept and we can see there are some visible developments has been done in Bangladesh. Undoubtedly, we cannot really refute that. For example, the Padda River Bridge,
Yeah.
and then we have there are many flyovers in the capital in order to reshape the traffic system in Bangladesh, which one of the national problem was. So all these bridges, flyovers, these are very visible development, and people can see that, and people can enjoy the fruits of that. This is true that this has been done, but on the other side, you have to think that, I was looking on the other day on the newspaper that on last May we had a 79 billion loan on our head. That has now been increased to 174 since May till now.
Oh, okay.
So it's not only in one side you can see some visible development, but on the other side, country is running in financial debt, which was not been expected unto that level. That is one of the things. The other thing, yes, the ready-made garments from Bangladesh is one of our national source of income, and one of the highest level of income that we rely on. And then this is quite stable, and that was during this disruption it was affected, but as a whole there is no effect on that. It's continuously export and import is ongoing. There are little disruption because of the transitional period, but I'm hoping that it will come up into a normal shape. The other source of income that we have national is the expatriate, those who sends the remittance to the country. So I think these could have been much more addressed in the last 15 years, and it was not been addressed. There have always been dissatisfaction by the expatriates when they travel to their country, and they're not satisfied with the airport immigration process, they are not satisfied with the customs process, and the way they have been treated in Bangladesh, they're not happy about it. I completely accept and understand where this frustration came from, but there are a lot of things could have been done within last 15 years, and I'm sure the present government or the upcoming government, once the national election is held, the new system will take place when these people will be addressed and their issues will be addressed and they will be respected and they will be given a smooth travel to Bangladesh for the expatriates. In relation to the garments, I want also the make sure that all the garments workers, they are safe in the right place they are working, so the foreign buyers is happy to buy our products, and our exports gets more higher and higher day by day, and I'm optimistic that time will come very soon.
Okay, hopefully, yeah. A very interesting thing, being a student of history and political science for myself and maybe for many others, was watching people destroying statues of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman or monuments attributed to the independence. Considering that Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was Bangla Bandhu, he was the founder of the nation, he liberated Bangladesh from Pakistan, struggled for it, and then lost his life. Do you think it was just show of expression of hatred towards Hasina, or did it have more to it? That why people went to this stage or this extent that they were destroying the statues and the monuments?
Well, first of all, you see, me personally and the people of Bangladesh, they have full respect to Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. And he played a very significant role during the independence of Bangladesh, along with the other freedom fighters. And Bangladeshi, each and every individuals in their heart, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman is there. But what I understand is during the past 15 years, the Awami League regime, they abused that, and then people's respect was being, cut in such a way that his name and the freedom fighters, the ruling party has played the card to remain in power, just to face Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's. and the freedom fighters. But people of Bangladesh respect them anyway. But I, on the other side, I also, kind of, say that when the statue was damaged, we didn't like that. People didn't like it. But on the other side, the people had the students had the grievance of which is accumulated in last 15 years in their mind, and because they've been deprived, they've been falsely accused. There are hundreds of millions of cases against them. They've been falsely imprisoned. They've been their parents or they're somebody they know. They've been abducted, and just this happened because the party will remain in power. And always they've been playing the cassettes of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, which was not right. So this happened out of anger and out of grievance. I don't see that this is the real sense of the people. It could be probably an emotional thing that happened at that point of time. But I don't think that a sensible person will do that.
Okay, fair enough. Like in the start of this talk, I would come to the concluding questions now.
Sure.
In the start, I said that dilemma of a revolution is that often people who sow the seed don't reap it. So, considering what is happening and being a political leader yourself, who do you think would be the actual beneficiary of this revolution eventually?
Right. You see, first of all, the students' uprising started with a particular issue. Then the ordinary people, their parents, the students' parents, they joined with them because these parents don't want to see their children on the street without food and protesting and being killed. So they were, these parents, the guardian of the students, were beside them. And then gradually, the ordinary people, those who are subject to victim of this 15 years regime, they came on the street. And the party, my party, they, from the day one, they've been supporting these students, and they clearly state that we are with the students' demand, what the students is expecting, and student is demanding. We are, with them, and we want to be with them. Our support will remain with them. And in addition to that, when it was demanded that the government should resign, the Prime Minister should resign, my party clearly stated that, well, we've been demanding this for the last 15 years. Every single time, every single moment, every single day, every single month. So we've been continuously demanding this because government was an autocratic government. We don't want to remain in power. We want people's voting rights to be reverted. We want to make sure that people can vote. We want to make sure that people mandate are being given from the local election to the general election to the national election, everywhere. The voter rights has to be there. So if the independent, probably you are aware that recently the judicial setup has been shuffled and a lot of changes. Our Chief Justice has been changed. So I believe the judicial system will make some changes as well. I'm also convinced that election commission will be set up to have an independent body, independently can function and conduct independent election, where people can vote their choice to make their representative from the local representation to the national election, up to the national level. So if that happens and there is a fair election takes place in Bangladesh, I'm very optimistic that the BNP will come back to power again. There are a lot of supports for them.
Well, good luck to you, and I hope that there is an election soon, and we don't see a long night of fear and frightened in future like before. This effort was just to understand what exactly happened in Bangladesh from the point of view of a Bangladeshi politician who happens to be a barrister as well. So he understands maybe from the people's point of view, from the politics point of view, and from the legal point of view. I hope you like this talk, and our best wishes are for the people of Bangladesh, because eventually any revolution, any movement which does not benefit the people, is it in vain? Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.